if it's Monday night, say yeah. For it is the final Ridiculously Raw before the 31st annual Survivor Series. Oh, Nelly, do we have a show tonight? Oh, you want to talk about a go home show? Y'all got one and then some. SmackDown Live, I hope you took notice because that's how you do a go home show tonight. There's gonna be cutouts, whatever. But with the news that came out tonight, holy guacamole! Oh, the complexion of Survivor Series has just changed. I think we're officially looking at the greatest one ever. And I think a certain panelist is going to have a certain message for a certain network. For the love of God, I hope I hear that message tonight. He knows what I'm talking about. He knows who he is. So, with that being said, hello friends and welcome to Ridiculously Raw. I am your ridiculously over good brother Anthony Floyo here, along with good old MF Michael Fletcher from the Cerebral Smack Talk. We've also got the Phenom Michael Bullock. The only round of bad news tonight is our Twisted Angel and First Lady of the Wrestling Firm, Dee Dee Woodson, will not be joining us this evening due to work commitments beyond her control. She will, however, be back tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk. So make a note of that, MF, when you set up for that tomorrow night. So, oh, Lord in heaven, what a night. The go-home show for Monday Night Raw before Survivor Series. Man, just still trying to wrap my head around a few things. Nonetheless, guys, here we go. Let's start it off. Monday Night Raw was live tonight from the Phillips Arena in Atlanta, Georgia, exclusively on the USA Network. We started it off with, hey, second time in 3 weeks we get to see her. The $1 Billion Princess, the commissioner of Monday Night Raw, the lovely Stephanie McMahon. And boy, did she look good tonight. She came out here and, and then she introduced General Manager Kurt Angle. And yep, Stephanie basically emasculated Angle again. And she was about to fire him. And then all of a sudden, enter the Shield, including Roman Reigns. Yes, Roman Reigns is back. And they basically endorsed Kurt Angle. And of course, they hyped their 6-man tag team match with Miz and Bar, which we'll get into later. And then the Shield called out the New Day. Roman Reigns called out New Day for a match at Survivor Series. And gentlemen, it's official. We're going to get it. The Shield versus the New Day at Survivor Series. MF wanted a best of 7 series. You got one. Game on. Series on. Nothing more to say on this. It's a strong opening segment. Stephanie's act felt fresher than it did a week ago. Well, 2 weeks ago, rather. Thanks in part to Roman Reigns standing up to her more than most WWE personalities are allowed to. She had good logic for nearly firing Kurt Angle, though it was odd that it seemed to be forgotten once the Shield trio showed up and endorsed him. And of course, we had the talk about Jason Jordan. Oh, we're gonna have a lot to say about that young man. Trust me on that. So that's basically what it was. I mean, there were so many wonderful segments on this show tonight, and this was one of them. I mean, so many great segments that I honestly cannot pick one to be the segment of the night. So we're just gonna say this is one of the segments of the night. Absolutely. And it definitely delivered. Strong segment to start the show. So there's nothing more to say on this. So good old MF, Michael Fletcher, come on in. Mr. SmackDown Live. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, MF. Didn't you say you wanted a best of 7 series for Survivor Series?
Yeah, I did say it. I thought that, it would be more fair if it was a true Survivor Series, Raw versus SmackDown to 7. That's what I said going in. That's what I preached about. Good for you. Good job, WWE. Now deliver on Sunday night. Now, for happened here at the beginning of Stephanie made a valid point. She made a lot of valid points. You know, calling out Kurt Angle, saying, well, you were going after, you know, Monday Night Raw. You were going after SmackDown, but did you really need to? They had the New Day show up. How did they get through? And you kind of dropped the ball on this because you brought all the troops thinking it was going to be an Under Siege 2. It was only just a New Day. And on top of that, now our lesser power teams in the tag team division is now a tag team champions. They got to fight the Usos, who is right now, I believe, the best tag team in the entire division. You let that happen under your watch. Now, it looked, first I thought she was just going to strip him of the captaincy. I don't think she was going to fire him. I think that would have been a major disservice. But I thought she was going to strip him of the captaincy and basically like, well, you're now no longer the captain of Monday Night Raw. You're not going to lead the team in the battle. I thought she was going to have somebody else replace him. Well, she also talked about, well, John Cena is a part of SmackDown Live, which we found out Wednesday that Cena joined SmackDown. I instantly jumped in celebration over the news, while Anthony Florio he kind of wasn't really too happy about that. All right, fine, whatever. Now, it's coming down the pipeline. We'll have to find out. I love the fact of the matter is that with the Shield coming out, calling out the New Day, well, it kind of was predicted. It kind of was expected. And on top of that, they kind of did tip their hand on us with dirt sheets and a certain network, a certain satellite network. The Guts last night, Michael Bullock can attend it because he's the one that caught it first, more than anybody else. I didn't notice it until after the fact. Bullock was the first to jump on it. So credit to Michael Bullock, the Phenom actually having an inside scoop this time around. So elaborate on that in a minute. So yeah, it was expected. Good start. I like. Nothing more to say. Mike Bullock, I'll give it to you.
Yeah, I mean, I was the one to find out about it when me and Fletch. I mean, well, we were at the Buffalo Wild Wings last night watching the Patriots Broncos game. At some point, they had a commercial for DirecTV, well, for promoting the Survivor Series. And as soon as I saw the New Day versus the Shield on there, I'm like, I think WWE just tipped the hand for us, and I'm like, I don't think we need to wait till tomorrow night to find out. I mean, we just found out right here, right now. I mean, we knew it firsthand, Fletch. I mean, but yeah, as far as this promo, I thought this was a very good promo to start off this edition of Raw. I mean, it set the tone for what was a really good night, to say the very least. I mean, but I got to agree with Florio. I mean, it looked like Stephanie McMahon was going to fire Kurt Angle on the spot, and that was until the Shield showed up and basically said, "You know what? We endorse Kurt Angle not only as our captain, but as the GM of Raw. We don't care what you say or what you think." So, yeah, take that, Stephanie McMahon. And I even endorse Kurt Angle as the GM as well. And Florio, pretty sure, endorses him as the GM as well. Don't you, Florio?
Oh, it's true. It's damn true.
Yeah, so you hear that from me and Anthony Florio, Stephanie McMahon. So you just watch yourself. So yeah, and then the Shield basically call up the New Day and challenge them to a 6-man tag team at Survivor Series, and of course it's gonna go down, no doubt about it. I mean, we already talked about it, so yeah, certainly a nice way to set the tone for tonight's edition of Raw. So that being said, Florio, let's just move on.
All right. First match of the night, a triple threat match in the women's division. Mickie James, Dana Brooke, Bayley. The winner will round out the Raw women's team at Survivor Series, gets the 5th and final spot. Winner of the match in 7 minutes and 35 seconds, and the final member of the Raw women's team at Survivor Series, it's Bayley. Bayley wins it with the Bayley to belly on Mickie James for the 1-2-3. So the Raw women's team at Survivor Series, it will be Captain Alicia Fox, Nia Jax, Sasha Banks, Bayley, and Asuka. There you go. So MF, you don't have to talk about the match if you don't want to, because the match wasn't really all that good. But your thoughts, your final thoughts on the Raw women's team?
Impressive, very impressive. I mean, it didn't matter who the last member was going to be. If it was Mickie James, that would have been a nice upgrade. If it would have been Bayley, that's a nice upgrade. If Dana Brooke found a way on the team, I would really be excited for Team SmackDown. But Bayley to get in there and be the final member of the team, you got yourself a bona fide starting 5. There's no doubt about it. Alicia Fox, yes, she's crazier than a pet coon. Yes, she's basically probably not the best selection for a captain, but when you round out the other 4 women that you got with a monster in her own right, one of the best in the women's division, Nia Jax, who's I really believe the most underrated on the Raw roster right now, and a lot of people believe she should be a future champion down the line. Then you got Asuka. We already know what Asuka can bring. Without a doubt, the best women's wrestler in the world today. And right now, in my opinion, other than and Dee Woodson's not here, so I can get away with this tonight. And I know she'll probably give me an earful about it tomorrow. Who cares? The goddess of Alexa Bliss. Yes, I did it. I said it. I'll take the repercussions tomorrow. More importantly, then we got, of course, Bayley, multi-time women's champion. And so, I mean, you got a strong 5. You got a legitimate, strong on the Raw women's roster. No doubt about it. I can't poo-poo over it. Now I'm really wondering what's going to happen with SmackDown, because remember, there's a huge on SmackDown, but consequently, the women's as we know it, with Charlotte versus Natalya wins, there's a spot open for a figure. I pick, or my guess would be that you would hope, or I should hope, that maybe Natalya fills the 5th gap and that covers the 5 and we'd be set to go. But I've heard rumors someone might be coming back, and initially coming back on Raw tonight, and she never did. Could they be holding this certain someone for SmackDown Live. Now, there was rumors she was supposed to debut with SmackDown after her injury. This one as a replacement for... I would be very intrigued with this one. This would actually, because then you just reboost the starters. You got nothing to worry about, and we wouldn't have any more problems at this point. So we'll see what happens. For me, fight, but yeah, the Raw roster going into the Survivor Series, and especially going up against the 5 of SmackDown, who is, oddly enough, Captain Becky Lynch, Naomi, at the moment, Charlotte Flair, but that can always change, because if Charlotte wins the title tomorrow night, she goes and faces with Alexa Bliss, and then that 5th spot is wide open. Of course, you got Tamina Snuka, and of course, Miss Money in the Bank herself, Carmella, as the 5th member of SmackDown Live. So we'll see. Nothing more to say, Michael Bullock. I'll give it to you.
Yeah, I'm not going to comment on the match, but yeah, Bayley is definitely an improvement. And I'll tell you what, I mean, the Raw team definitely looks really good. I mean, yeah, say what you want about Alicia Fox. I mean, she's, like you said, crazier than a Pet-Coon and probably not the best option to have as the team captain for Monday Night Raw. But like you said, you got Nia Jax in there. I mean, the most underrated woman on the Raw roster, who I think somewhere down the line will be the Raw Women's Champion, no doubt about it. And then you got Asuka, and then you got Sasha Banks, and then you got of course now Bayley. So yeah, yes, so and when it comes to the SmackDown Live roster, I mean, we don't know what that's going to be like because, like you said, tomorrow night we got ourselves a SmackDown Women's Title match with Charlotte against Natalya, and that could change the whole outcome of that team. So SmackDown Live looks a little bit of uncertainty right now. So we'll just have to wait and see how it all plays out tomorrow night. So yeah, so there's really nothing more for me to say. So I'm just going to give it to you, Florio.
Well, as far as the match goes, it was a 1-star match. It was a clunky match for the most part. But as far as what happened here, like MF said, there was a lot of buzz last week about a big name returning and taking the final spot on Team Raw. But of course, that did not happen tonight. So it could definitely change the complexion, when it comes to SmackDown Live. Actually, I'm actually gonna change my rating for this match. I'm actually gonna give it 2 stars for the effort. I mean, it was okay. I mean, Asuka killing Dana Brooke on the outside was always fun, and it was much better when it was down to Bayley and Mickey. So Bayley is in. So that's all I can say on that. So yes, I mean, I'm very pleased with our women's team. It's almost a carbon copy of last year's team. The only difference is there's no Charlotte Flair on our side. I mean, pretty much have almost the same team. The only difference, I believe, is Asuka. So it's almost similar to the women's team we had last year. But A Fox, I mean, despite the fact that she's the captain, to me, she's the weak link on that team, honestly. Because you look at the rest of the team we have. I mean, Bayley, former women's champion, Sasha Banks, women's champion, Asuka, the cream of the crop right now, held the NXT Women's Championship longer than anybody, 523 days, retired undefeated. And of course, and then rounding it out, of course, you got Nia Jax, who I agree will be a future Raw Women's Champion. Honestly, I think she should have been a Women's Champion by now. Honestly, but it is what it is. But even though well, we'll get more into it, Friday night when we have our big preview show. But and yes, very exciting future content coming up. I mean, this is Survivor Series week after all, so very exciting indeed. And we're just tipping the iceberg here tonight, folks, and scratching the surface. So 1 star for that. So, well, 2 stars rather. I'm sorry. So let's move on now. Our next match, Cruiserweight Championship on the line. Well, actually, no, it was not the Cruiserweight Championship. I'm thinking about Survivor Series. I'm sorry. I'm just so excited about Survivor Series. It's looking like it's going to be the greatest one ever, honest to goodness. But Cruiserweight Champion Enzo Amore teaming up with Drew Gulak. They went up against Kalisto and Akira Tozawa. Winners of the match in 7 minutes and 40 seconds. Enzo Amore, Drew Gulak. And Michael Bullock, before I give it to you, there is an announcement that needs to be made. Of course, Enzo and Kalisto will battle for the Cruiserweight Championship Sunday night. And WWE, for once, did the right thing. It will not be on the main card. It got bumped to the kickoff show. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. Michael Bullock, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm glad it got bumped to the kickoff show because this is basically all about Raw versus SmackDown Live, and rightfully so. So, yeah. So, what was the time of the fall, Florio?
7 minutes and 40 seconds.
I'll give it about maybe 1.5 stars as my rating on it. I mean, nothing really special to write home about. Obviously, they want to give Enzo Amore some momentum going into the cruiserweight title, his cruiserweight title defense, to say the very least. So, I'm not going to really write home anything more or go into any further details on this. So, I'm just going to give it to you, Florio.
Another 2-star match. Enzo gets some momentum ahead of Survivor Series with the win. Just like the opening match, it was just okay. I mean, outside of the dive spot, there was no real energy to this at all. And Michael Bullock, you hit it right on the head. Normally, we would rip WWE for bumping matches like this to the kickoff show, but this is one time we're actually going to be okay with it because what's the theme of Survivor Series? Raw versus SmackDown Live. This has nothing to do with Raw versus SmackDown Live. This is strictly a cruiserweight match. Championship match, yes, but you bumped it to the kickoff show. In years past, we would rip on something like this, but this is one time we're like, do it. We're good. We're fine. So, thank you, WWE, for once doing the right thing. Well, I'm not saying it for once because you've been doing the right thing a lot lately. These guys have been on a roll lately with all these changes to Survivor Series and the whole 9 yards. And like I said, they're going for the gusto here. And I strongly believe in my heart of hearts it's going to be the greatest one ever with the way they booked this thing. So, 2 stars for the effort. And thank you, WWE, for moving that cruiserweight match to the kickoff show. It's a match we have no desire to see anyway, but it is what it is. So MF, your thoughts on all this?
This could have easily been on 205 Live tomorrow night, but I'm glad that it's just a kickoff show match. You don't have to worry about seeing this on Survivor Series on the main card. Let's focus on the best of 7 series. That's going to be your Survivor Series. That's going to be whatever you need to live and die by. So, yeah, I'm with you on that one, Florio. I'm excited for that as well. As far as the show goes, not bad. Pretty good. I'll give it maybe 1 for the effort, but that's all you're getting from me. But like I said, they did the right thing by taking this off the main card and just putting it on the pre-show because, like you said, nobody's really going to care for the match. Let's focus and let's see what it's going to be all about tomorrow night. So I mean, what is it about on Sunday night at Survivor Series? So,
all right. Let's get into our next segment here. Miz TV segment. Miz's guests, the new Raw Tag Team Champions, The Bar, Cesaro and Sheamus. And basically, they I mean, they talk about the 6-man tag with the Shield later in the show, and they also talk about Cesaro and Sheamus talking about their upcoming match at Survivor Series against the Usos. And all right, now, even though I thought the segment was fine, I don't see why we needed a 15-minute segment to set up a match that was already announced. Nothing new was covered. They added nothing to the bills for the match. And Miz talked about Baron Corbin for only a minute. I felt it was like a filler segment to me, if I'm going to be real honest. Heck, I could go as far as to call this a cutout, honestly. I mean, I don't know if these guys agree with me on that. Do we want to consider this a cutout, guys? Because in a way, I kind of do. Unless you want to get into it.
No, yeah, I mean, you can cut it out. I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, because nothing was accomplished during the segment, honestly. So, even though I am looking forward to seeing the Bar against the Usos at Survivor Series, that's going to be one hell of a match. Because remember, those two were in the final two of the tag team traditional Survivor Series match last year. And for 5.5 minutes, they gave us some exciting action. So, if they can give us 5.5 minutes of good action last year, who knows what they can do with even more time. So that's all I can say there. So we're just going to move on. Then we had a match, Bray Wyatt against Jason Jordan. And believe it or not, Jason Jordan actually wins the match, 7 minutes and 15 seconds. What do we think about this one, guys? Do we want to consider this a cutout as well? It's one of those I'm not sure situations. So we can talk about it if you want.
Cut it out. I just not even going to waste my time with that.
All right, Bullock has spoken. So yeah, it was a 1 3/4 star match. I mean, it was painfully predictable from Jordan, quote unquote, winning via fluke, getting beaten down, and the crowd continuing to turn on him. The goal was to prove Jordan belonged, which he really didn't. But now the question will be, can he compete on Sunday? And if he does he finally go heel and turn on his father, Kurt? The big pile of meh continued here. And I mean, Bray Wyatt returned with zero fanfare and lost to a guy the fans don't like. It was like Wyatt was never even gone. He received the same treatment that his brother, Bo Dallas, did when he came back. I would ask what happened to Sister Abigail, but I'm still willing to pretend like that disaster never happened if they are. And the crowd's reaction to Jordan during and especially after the match says it all about his babyface run. Pull the plug on it, turn him heel. Of course, the question now is, who would replace Jason Jordan if this angle was designed to remove him from the Survivor Series match? We'll find out. So, okay, now we're gonna get into something relevant here. Universal Champion Brock Lesnar, his advocate Paul Heyman. They cut a promo about AJ Styles, and I mean Heyman. It may be the only time they enter the ring together, and then he said that Styles is the single most talented in-ring performer of this generation. Heyman said someone would say that is Finn Balor, but he said let them fight it out. But Styles is the ultimate opponent for Lesnar from a stylistic standpoint, and Styles is the ultimate underdog. This ain't no freaking Rocky movie. This is Survivor Series. And Heyman went into Mick mode by saying that Styles can't survive Lesnar. And Heyman looks forward to pontificating on Styles, putting on the performance of his life, yet being conquered by Lesnar. And Brock was actually shown shaking a couple of hands with fans at ringside during the match. But nonetheless, there was also during the segment, she said yes chant. Okay, who the hell pops the question during a Heyman promo? But anyway, I mean, Heyman delivered again. I mean, it was another great Heyman segment, and man alive, I mean, man, what a match that's going to be. I mean, Brock Lesnar against AJ Styles. This was great. And Heyman brought some life into the show. He made me interested, made me pay attention, and again, did an excellent job of putting over Lesnar's opponent. I know that some feel Heyman gets repetitive, and to a point, I can agree. But while everyone is going through the motions of being repetitive, Heyman is still awesome. And if you heard the crowd, made the crowd chant for Styles because he got them invested. So that's how you sell a match right there. That's how you sell a match right there. Brock Lesnar, AJ Styles. Let's get it on. What are you saying, Meth? What a segment here.
Paul freaking Heyman. I mean, into the hype man mode that I normally would go, and you laid out everything needed to hear. You do. You hyped about AJ Styles and being a deserving and worthy opponent in the main event at Survivor Series as WWE Champion. And I loved how you dissected it and broke down AJ Styles. How, okay, I'm the strongest guy, but he's going to pose a problem for, which is he's quicker, he's faster, a little more smaller, but more dynamic. Because the last time Brock Lesnar fought a little guy, I believe he had, I don't know, practically Eddie Guerrero? We all remember how that fight turned out all those years ago. So maybe that's one thing that you have to say. But this is an absolute fight. This would be a fight that you would crave to see anywhere in the world. And not only that, this is a WrestleMania caliber fight, and we're getting it at the Survivor Series of all pay-per-views. Practically the weakest of the major four on this event. I mean, this is as much latitude we see. Now, as far as the the dude proposing in front, during the segment, okay, fine. I mean, another night of the show, but I mean, that's kind of pretty interesting. Heyman being Heyman, and I love how he brought up about 5 points, and point kind of burned me a little. This movie, and you're gonna probably get destroyed. If this was Jinder Mahal, I give you all the credit in the world and I'd say, all right, no way, no how, Brock's gonna crush him. Different cat. You're dealing with a different animal, Paul Heyman. Styles? I mean, have you ever seen any of his fights in New Japan Pro Wrestling? Have you even seen any of his fights in TNA? Or Triple wrestled El Messias and put the TNA heavyweight title on the line that night? Have you even seen him wrestle the world? And that it's just going to be that simple that he's going to get crushed by Brock Lesnar. I mean, dude, you're looking at possibly the 2017, the year AJ Styles. Now, there's a big debate on the internet about, because right now there's 4 guys that's really in the mix. Wrestler of the Year, AJ Styles. I think hands down, he's got it locked. On Sunday night, he cements it. Like, give him. This is feel a line. Shut up and give AJ the Wrestling Form Wrestler of the Year trophy right now. Give it right to him. because there would be no more arguments about what AJ would have done in this calendar year. Out my fighter of the year. He wins on Sunday night. Doc Barrel shoe-in. Now, Heyman delivers whenever you need to get a reason to go and watch an event. First, did it dissectively. He made me want to see the show, and now I'm intrigued. Cannot come soon enough, and I cannot wait to see AJ Styles versus Brock Lesnar, Universal Champion versus the WWE World Champion. It don't get no bigger than this. And Houston, you're definitely going to have a problem on Sunday night. Bullock, it's all yours, my friend.
Man, Fletcher delivering the hype mode as he normally does. Well done, Fletch. I mean, this was another really good segment here. I mean, Paul Heyman's money on the mic as always. I mean, hyping this fight between his client Brock Lesnar and AJ Styles. I mean, man, this is gonna be a fun match here. I mean, certainly a whole hell of a lot better than Brock Lesnar and Jinder Mahal. I mean, like you said, Styles is quicker and a man that could give Brock Lesnar a lot of problems. But here, we can never count out the Beast Incarnate. We've seen him win some big fights as well, so that's why this makes this match very interesting, to say the very least. I'm going to have a major vested interest in this fight. If AJ Styles can pull this one off, I think he cements himself as the WWE Wrestler of the Year because of what he's done so far in 2017. As for overall Wrestler of the Year, I'm pretty sure there's probably some other wrestlers and other promotions that might have something to say about it. But as far as WWE Wrestler of the Year, if he beats Brock Lesnar, then definitely give it to him. So this was another good segment. So Florio, it is yours.
Oh Lord, that's all I can say on that. That is going to be something else. And let's move on to our next moment here. This was the big match here, 6-man tag team action. The Shield, their first match together in over 3 years, against Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion The Miz and Raw Tag Team Champions The Bar. Winners of the match, between 14 minutes and 55 seconds to an even 15 minutes, Sierra, Hotel, India, Echo, Lima, Delta, Shield. Nothing more to say. MF, I think we got ourselves a fight of the night right here.
Yeah, fight of the night, no doubt about it. This was a tremendous fight, tremendous battle. I could give this about a good, 3.5 stars. This was a very good match, solid fight. Everything went down the way that it should have gone down. It just looked solid. Everything looked great. The battle was fine. It just had the feeling of a big fight feel. There was a moment where The Miz kind of ran off, and I was about to go on the mother of all rants on The Miz and say that's your Intercontinental Champion running away in the middle of the fight. I kind of was like, you know what, that's fine, whatever, not a big deal. It was solid for what it was worth. I just loved how everything came together. at the end. Yet a great chain wrestling at the close of the fight, and congratulations to the Shield, big win for them. Nice momentum going into the Survivor Series, but man, if you're champions, I mean, kind of a little bit of a disservice, especially the Miz, and for the Miz and for Cesaro and Sheamus, the Bar. I mean, okay, you want to make everybody look really strong and good and get ready for the war, but you cannot be losing the way you just lost here tonight. Even though it was in a good effort, you just can't lose those kind of fights leading into a big battle on Sunday night, especially when you're facing the Usos. And then for the Miz, I mean, well, we gotta wait and see, because it could be Sin Cara or it could be Baron Corbin. Right now, I'm gonna go on paper here, and I'm gonna call I think it's gonna be Sin Cara versus Miz at Survivor Series. I don't know. I got this funny feeling it's gonna be them two. Nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, I'll give it to you.
I'll give it about somewhere between 3.5 to 4 stars. I thought this was a very good match. I thought the Shield looked really good in their first match back together in over 3 years. And I'll say this: I mean, it looked like they didn't even lose a step in the 3 years they haven't been together. So, yeah, I mean, when the Miz walked out, I'm like, really? This is your Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion? I mean, for your champion to basically run out in the middle of the match, that would have been absolutely pointless. And you, Floria, would have to admit that would be pointless and unnecessary on his part. I mean, he's your Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion. And for him to walk off like that would be a slap in the face. And he says he's brought prestige back to the Intercontinental Championship? Yeah, freaking right. You only bring prestige when you put on good matches. You don't walk off like that, you effing coward. So, but at least he came back. But yeah, they want to make the Shield obviously look good for their match against the New Day, and right now this doesn't look good for the Bar going into their match against the Usos. I mean, it's still going to be a good match, but I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see how it goes down Sunday night. So, nothing more to say. Florio, it's yours.
Fight of the night. Yes, indeed. I'm more with MF's rating, 3 to 3.5. It was, in all honesty, a match that really should not have been booked, as both teams were in a position where they should not lose ahead of Survivor Series. But details like that don't matter to WWE, because the champions are completely expendable. That being said, the match was great and had a fun finish, easily the best wrestling on the show, but the booking did leave a lot to be desired, I'm going to be honest. So really nothing more to say on that. So about 3 to 3.5 stars on that. Okay. Here we go. We had General Manager Kurt Angle coming out. He said Jason Jordan was injured during his match with Bray Wyatt, and he's pulling him from the Survivor Series match. Replacing Jordan will be, but wait, Jason Jordan arrives, gets all overly emotional. He was like, please don't take this away from me. Please don't take this away from me. And then Stephanie comes in, cuts him off, and says, make the announcement now. But then a certain music hit. A certain man's music hit. Time to play the game. What? Triple H? And Triple H comes out and says, either you make the damn announcement or I will. And then he says, and then he basically goes and makes the announcement. Jason Jordan is out, and the 5th member of Team Raw at Survivor Series, none other than the King of Kings, the cerebral assassin, the MF's all-time idol, the one and only, the game, Triple H. Michael Bullock, how do you follow that?
Oh my goodness. Are you kidding me right now? I mean, the King of Kings, a multiple time world champion, perhaps one of the greatest of all time, Triple H, is going to be on Team Raw. Man, this just made this 5-on-5 men's traditional Survivor Series match very, very interesting. This was Raw's way of answering back to when they made the announcement of John Cena was going to be on Team SmackDown Live. So they said, "Okay, you want John Cena to be on the Team SmackDown? All right, we're going to top you with this. The game, Triple H is going to be on Team Raw." I'll tell you this right now, Florio, and I'll even openly admit this. I think Raw's chances just got better. I mean, and let's just say this. I mean, I think this man. I mean, he bleeds Team Red. I mean, we've seen it on Raw multiple times, and I'll tell you what. Right now, I mean, I don't know which match is going to steal the show even more. Styles Brock Lesnar match, or this for that matter. I'll tell you right now who's in a no-win situation, Florio. You want to know who's in a no-win situation?
Who?
One of our own, Michael Fletcher.
Yeah.
Because he bleeds Team Blue. He bleeds SmackDown Live. And now for him to know his favorite, Triple H, is going to be on Team Raw. Oh, man. This just makes it interesting. And I'll be quite honest right now, I don't even know who's going to win. Before this, I would have said SmackDown Live all the way. But after this, I really don't know. I really don't. I'll say this to me was the segment of the night. No doubt about it. So, nothing more to say. Florio, I still can't believe this.
You can't believe it. I'm still marking out, man. Wow. Well, Raw needed an answer to John Cena, and Triple H fits it. Angle just let him lay his son out, which again should lead to the Jordan heel turn since his dad didn't stand up for him. And it's also likely another way to kick off the bill to Triple H versus Kurt Angle at WrestleMania. I'm not saying I think it's good, but I get what they're going for. And it does feel like desperation booking, changing the title to Styles and adding Angle, Triple H, and Cena to this match. That's what some say. That's not what I say. I'm all for it. Who would you rather have? A 14-time world champion or a guy who right now is who I can say is almost the most hated man in the IWC, almost more than Roman. Whoa. But nonetheless, a nice final push for Survivor Series. Jordan did show decent emotion, but I can't believe they had him include the line about how Survivor Series is the one time a year when Raw wrestlers face SmackDown as he was making his passionate plea. It wouldn't have mattered anyways. The fans don't like him. And even though Hunter just gave him the pedigree, I still assume he ends up being a pawn of Hunter and Stephanie in some power struggle with Kurt Angle, which will lead to that rumored match at WrestleMania 34 between Triple H and Kurt Angle. Well, let's not focus on that right now. Let's focus on Survivor Series. That's what this is about. So now, let's look at Team Raw now. Team Captain Kurt Angle. The Monster Among Men, Braun Strowman. The Samoan Submission Machine, Samoa Joe. The first ever Universal Champion. James Dean Cool, John Wayne Tough, Finn Balor. The Demon. And now you got the cerebral assassin, the king of kings, the game, a 14-time world champion, Triple H. Now that's how you counter the super team that is SmackDown Live. You know, Shane O'Mac, Randy Orton, Bobby Roode, Shinsuke Nakamura, John Cena. That's a super team. It may not be, you know, a super team Impact on Raw, but we now have a 5 that can easily counteract that super team over on SmackDown Live. I agree with you, Bullock. Even though the Heyman segment was great, if we had to pick one that segment of the night, this is it. Because who honestly expected Triple H to not only show up, but also be added to this traditional Survivor Series elimination match? And if you thought the men's match last year was the greatest, which we all agree, last year's was the greatest traditional Survivor Series match of all time, 5 stars and beyond, this match here in 2017 is going to make that match from last year look like an absolute dud and the worst traditional Survivor Series match of all time. I'm going on the record right now. This is going to be the greatest traditional Survivor Series elimination match of all time. You heard it here first. Nothing more to say. Segment of the night. MF, your boy, your all-time idol, the game.
Oh man.
What?
Yeah, Michael Bullock just made up a really good thing when he said about the dilemma now I got. I mean, it's Cena, Orton, and Trips are all gonna be at the Survivor Series fight in that match on both sides of the fence. What do I do now? Oh my god. Palm face moment for me right now. This would be the palm face moment for me right now. The I can't take it face, whatever you want to call it. It would be it's unbelievable. There's really nothing more to say. It is shocking. But Raw going in, you're excited. But now you got to start thinking, could we get a double turn? Because not only do you got to watch for Jason Jordan, you might have to watch out for Kurt Angle. Because look on Angle's face after Triple H hit the pedigree on he had a look of shock like, oh my god. But then you saw the look that he was not happy as a father. So, a couple of ways this could go. If you're SmackDown Live right now, it is literally super team versus super team. I'll openly admit this. This is like the Cavaliers versus the Warriors in the NBA. We'll say the Cavaliers is SmackDown team is like the Golden State Warriors. It's that kind of thing. There's no weak link on either side of the ball now. They are basically offensively, defensively, wrestling IQ, wrestling styles, the attitudes of these guys. There is no one on either side of the fence. Raw had 1 week covered it. Now it's literally a coin flip. Going in, I probably say SmackDown had the advantage. That advantage is no longer in play. It's out of play now. Now we got to see how it plays out at the end. What gonna be the winners? And for me, haven't seen any friction, no problems, no turmoil on SmackDown side. Nakamura and Cena and Shane, as of now, have fine. They've looked like, we haven't seen any Paradise. No, hopefully we don't see that the cracks break tomorrow. Oil machine in the Survivor Series, because on the other end, there's so much uncertainty because one, you don't know how that's gonna have off. Two, you got Triple H and Angle now after tonight, where Triple H basically, pedigree Kurt Angle's son, Jason Jordan, right through the mat, right before our very eyes. Holy cow, well on earth. And, well, what is it going to look like? Oh my God, man. That's all I'm going to say is, oh my God. This is going to be amazing. A segment of the night. Anthony, it's yours.
All right, and speaking of Finn Balor and Samoa Joe, MF, Kurt Angle puts them together as a tag team for the night against the Good Brothers, Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows. And the winners of the match, in about 13 minutes, it was Finn Balor and Samoa Joe. Finn Balor scoring the fall on Carl Anderson with the coup de grace, or as our friend Muchi PS3 calls it, the coup de grace. But nonetheless, Balor and Joe win it. You think this was supposed to feel like an internet dream match or something because of the 4 wrestlers involved. The sad thing is that it would have felt that way had they not run Anderson and Gallows into the ground all this time. Instead, it felt like a long filler match with the outcome not in question, even though Balor and Joe don't get along. So I can only give this like 2.5 for the effort. I mean, the final 30 seconds were a blast, but it felt like it took an hour to get there. It took too long to accomplish the goal of Balor and Joe working together and winning, and they lost the crowd the longer it went on. And even though they did that, it was still a technically sound match. I could probably say second best fight of the night, honestly. So 2.5 stars, nothing more to say. MF, your thoughts on Balor and Joe against the Good Brothers?
2.5 stars, no doubt about it. A solid fight. I wish it was a lot more better. Like you said, Florio, you're definitely right. And the little cohesiveness of Joe and Balor, and it does not look like they are on the same page. If you're SmackDown Live, you like that. You like to see the dissension, because that's going to be the thing that could spell defeat. Remember, in a Survivor Series, you need to be a well-oiled machine. There cannot be any chinks in the armor. Now, there are a couple of guys in the past who's makers that just does not like the team format. Okay, fine, we know there's some guys who have been like that in their day, but this is not the time to be doing it, and especially as they're making the emphasis, and you really start feeling the emphasis of Raw v SmackDown. So they're really trying to make it into a team concept. This is where you want to be at your best. So we'll wait and see what happened. Remember, last year, Raw practically dominated the Survivor Series. They won 2 out of the 3 mega fights. This year, SmackDown, you gotta come right and gotta be ready. Raw's, there's some chinks in the armor. Chinks there. We have to expose them and win the war. That's the main thing. Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, I agree. 2.5 stars. I mean, some were really not interested in the fight, and the thing is, like you said, Samoa Joe and Finn Balor couldn't get along, and if you're the captain of the team, Kurt Angle, that's got to concern you some. And if you're a Team SmackDown, you gotta love that. And you figure the strategy at Survivor Series is to expose that to basically to the point where Samoa Joe or someone else is gonna walk out on the team. So yeah, so we'll just have to wait and see how that all goes down. So yeah, to me there's really nothing more to say. Florio, I give it to you.
Okay, the main event of the evening. The Monster Among Men, Braun Strowman, one-on-one with Kane. Never happened. Bell never rang. It wasn't a match. It was just a brawl with a through the mat spot to close the show, which was fine in terms of keeping the feud going. But unless they conveniently stay under the ring until Sunday, honestly, I felt like it was a waste of a final segment, and it really should have been used to sell Survivor Series. Heck, you could have had the segment with Kurt Angle, Jason Jordan, and Triple H. That should have ended the show right there, if I'm going to be real honest with you. But it's not often that the main event segment is a cutout, but in this case, it is, unless you guys want to, wax poetic about the spot where Strowman power slam came through the ring. So, yeah, I didn't think so. So yeah, we're gonna consider that a cutout. It was an NA. It was a no contest. I mean, it never happened. I mean, nothing more to say on this. So let's get into our overall thoughts on this go home Monday Night Raw for Survivor Series. And well, initially I was going to give this a poor rating. I was going to give this like a 4 out of 10, but I'm going to bump this up to maybe around 5.5, 6 or so. It wasn't the greatest show, but this show, I felt it served its purpose. It got me not only looking forward to it, to Survivor Series, but it got me damn excited for it. You heard what I said. They're going for the gusto. They want to make this the best Survivor Series ever. And after what happened tonight, they're well on their way to doing it. Fight of the night, 6-man tag, Shield, Miz, Bar. Second best fight, I'd have to give it to Balor and Joe against the Good Brothers. All the other matches were okay and solid at best. But the in-ring segments, I mean, the opening segment with Stephanie, Kurt Angle, and the Shield, that was really good. Heyman with Lesnar talking about AJ, that was another great segment. And then of course the other, and then the big segment there, the return of Triple H, announcing that he was going to replace Jason Jordan as the 5th and final member of Team Raw for Survivor Series. So it left me looking forward to Survivor Series. So even though there were quite a few cutouts, including the main event for once, but nonetheless, 5.5, 6 out of 10. Not the best show, but it continues the theme of what Monday Night Raw has been this year in 2017. Solid and newsworthy. Nothing more to say. MF, Raw's final push for Survivor Series. How about it?
5.5. I'll give you that. Solid, newsworthy, good things coming out of going into Survivor Series for Team Raw. But yeah, there are a lot of there's a lot of questions that need to be answered. Number one, Braun Strowman, was he going to be like now that he went through the ring? And could Kane be a factor in the Survivor Series fight? I think there's going to be a lot of overbooking on this one. And I hate to say this, but I think there's going to be some overbooks. You're going to see some rivalries on both sides of the fence that's going to rear its ugly head that could torpedo both squads. So I mean, you're going to see a lot of dirt might break out in the Survivor Series on Sunday night. So we'll see what happens. Turf warfare, but 5.5 out of 10. Mike Bullock, I'll give it to you.
Yeah, I'm going to give it about a 5.5 out of 10 as well. So yeah, I mean, but I mean, you guys pretty much touched on everything, so there's really nothing more to say. I'm really looking forward to what goes down tomorrow night, and then eventually what's going to go down at the Survivor Series. So nothing more to say. So Florio, I say let's get on to your Tony's take.
Yeah, this is not going to be one of my better ones, because I'm going to tell you all right now. If you're wondering about what went down on 205 Live last week, trust me, you didn't miss anything. Trust me, this was a garbage show from start to finish. So, but I'll get into it anyway. Um, and of course it was in England, and we had the UK guys there. I mean, you would think it was going to be a great show, but oh boy, was I wrong. Enzo Amore came out, and he ran, cuts his usual heel promo, and then the UK guys, Mark Andrews, Tucker, Jordan Devlin, James Drake, Tyler Bate, Joseph Connors, they all show up, and of course the interesting thing was the exchange with Enzo Amore and Tyler Bate. I mean, there's a personal backstory here. NXT Women's Superstar Liv Morgan, of course, once upon a time, Enzo Amore was the boyfriend of Liv Morgan, but they broke up, and Liv Morgan has already found herself a new man in the form of the first ever UK champion, Tyler Bate. Ooh, lordy. So that was certainly a segment. And then we had Kalisto against Jack Gallagher. Kalisto wins in 5 minutes and 23 seconds. Salida del Sol. 2.25 stars. Solid match with a fun finish that nobody cared about. And then we had Mark Andrews and Cedric Alexander against Joseph Connors and James Drake. Andrews and Alexander get the win in 4 minutes and 51 seconds. By default, this was the fight of the night. 2.5 stars. Perfectly average tag match with a dead crowd. And then you had Enzo Amore against Tyler Bate. Enzo Amore wins in 8 minutes and 4 seconds with the Eat Defeat. I mean, after losing to Pete Dunne the night before, Enzo getting his revenge and a win back tonight was expected. But it was disappointing watching a guy who was in WWE's best match of 2017, or one of WWE's best matches of 2017, NXT TakeOver Chicago against Pete Dunne when he lost the title, having to dumb his game down so much that Enzo could keep up. You would hope that Enzo would step up his game here, but no. 3 out of 10. Depressing show to watch. They filled the show with UK talent in the UK, and absolutely nobody cared. It was depressing, man. It was flat and felt like a chore to watch. If you can't get UK fans to care about their own wrestlers while in their own country, it's not just a fail. It's an epic fail. And if you thought this was bad, what do they got in store tomorrow night? I mean, a birthday celebration for Kalisto? That's what you're going to do tomorrow night? A birthday party for Kalisto? Ugh. We'll put some butts in the seats. The toilet seats. Hi-yo. Nothing more to say on that. So, you didn't miss anything this past week. You're sure as hell ain't going to miss anything tomorrow night. And I'll be surprised if that thing ends up being remotely good.
Yeah. If anybody's thinking of watching 205 Live, my advice to you guys: don't even waste your time watching this.
Amen. All I can say. I mean, it pains me to say it, but it is what it is, and
this is why
show.
Derek Ferrera has crapped on this show,
right? So,
I mean, at first we questioned it, but now I can see why he's been hating all over this.
Ugh. It is what it is. Let's just move on. Move on to something a little better. Not a whole lot better, but it was better. We started with an in-ring segment. Eli Drake, still the global champion. He defeated Johnny Impact at Bound for Glory. He was out there with Chris Adonis, a.k.a. Chris Masters, interrupted by Petey Williams. And Petey Williams he basically issued a challenge to Drake for the title in his home country of Canada. Very good opening segment. Drake had good command. I liked Petey challenging him in Canada, as they could play into the hometown hero underdog angle. and it gives Drake a challenger until his next program is established, keeping him away from Johnny Impact and the returning Alberto El Patron for now. So let's move on. Here's an interesting match. Matt Sydal against Sanjay Dutt. Winner of the match in 15 minutes and 35 seconds. Matt Sydal with the shoot with his airborne, 2 3/4 stars. Overall, pretty good match with some smart work from Sydal, but it lacked a really hot closing stretch to get it to the next level. And the post match was interesting and well done. And then we had the GHC champion Eddie Edwards, the Noah champion, going up against El Hijo del Fantasma. Winner of the match in 9 minutes and 7 seconds, and still the GHC champion Eddie Edwards. Fight of the night, 3.5 stars. Very good back and forth sprint that I really enjoyed. Both guys were great there. And then we had tag team champions OVE and Sami Callihan against Ray Steele, Phil Atlas, and Burke. OVE and Callihan win the match in about 2 minutes. Dominant squash as it should have been. No rating to a dud. Worst fight of the night. And then we go to the BCW promotion where Ali squared off against Casey Spinelli. Ali won it in 7 minutes and 13 seconds. 2 3/4 stars. Pretty good back and forth match with an interested crowd, but I felt like it lacked drama, as it just felt like they kept exchanging moves and didn't really make me care. But they worked really hard though, and it was enjoyable for the most part. And then all of a sudden, a huge brawl with Johnny Impact and Alberto El Patron, and then it spilled over into the arena. Yeah, this was a bad 20-minute brawl to close the show. In theory, a brawl made sense considering what happened at Bound for Glory, but it was way too long and lost steam and heat the longer it went on. A bad and really flat way to close the show. Overall rating, I'm going to give it between 6 to 6.25 out of 10. While I was not a fan of Bound for Glory, I thought the post pay-per-view show started out good and it was enjoyable. The Drake promo was good and set up a match for next week. Sydal versus Dutt was enjoyable and set up an angle with EC3 and Sydal. And the Edwards Fantasma match was very good stuff. The Callihan and OVE squash was solid and what it needed to be and helped set up a match for next week. And Ali's match was pretty good, even if it lacked any drama. But the lethargic, flat, and lifeless 20-minute brawl crushed any momentum the show built, knocking a good show down to an average one. But hey, they got what they wanted. It's the Alberto show, unfortunately for us. So between 6 and 6.25 out of 10. So with that being said, let's get into what is coming up on this upcoming edition of Impact Wrestling, which will be on Thursday night on Pop Television. Dan Lambert coming out for a promo with Bobby Lashley. That gets interrupted by Moose and King Mo and American Top Team. Yeah, you're not missing anything there. Desmond Xavier, Sanjay Dutt, Garza Jr. against X Division champion Trevor Lee, Caleb Connolly, and Taiji Ishimori. Interesting 6-man X match there. EC3 against Falaba for the Impact Grand Championship. Gail Kim, her retirement ceremony. She's going to relinquish the Knockouts Championship. So that's her retirement ceremony. LAX against OVE and Sami Callihan. Latin American Exchange versus OVE and Sami Callihan in a 6-man tag. And then the main event for the Global Championship, Eli Drake, Petey Williams. And that's your show for Thursday. So 8 p.m. Pop Television. Check it out. And that's it. Ridiculously Raw for this week is in the books. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in. We're going to get into our quick shout-outs here. So MF or Bullock, whoever wants it first, it's yours. And save me for last because we got some very exciting content coming up.
All right. Of course, I want to start by saying thank you so very much for tuning in for another edition of Ridiculously Raw. And, of course, shout-outs to all of our tremendous fans and viewers out there who continue to support our shows, whether it's this, Ridiculously Raw, Cerebral Smack Talk, our Strictly Sports shows. So, of course, shout out to to all the Grand Poobah himself, Derek Ferreira, and of course our Twisted Angel Dee Woodson, who couldn't be here tonight. And of course, shout outs to our other super fans out there. You guys know who you are. To all of our friends from our high school days, you guys know who you are. So, yeah, that's going to do it for me. So, until tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk, this is the Phenom Mike Bullock saying thank you all so very much for tuning in. And of course, you know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it up Fortune 4 style. Bye for now. And enjoy your Tuesday, everyone. So, Fletch, I give it to you.
Yes, indeed. First off, thank you to all the great fans out there for making the show as amazing as it is. You guys are the best fans in the world. Top of that, super fans, you guys know who you guys are. 2194 crew, you guys know who you guys are. Friends in junior high and high school days, you guys know who you guys are. And there's really nothing more to say. So, up tomorrow night is indeed, yes, the Cerebral Smack Talk. We got SmackDown Live. We're going to be talking Survivor home show before the big show. And then as far as anything else goes, no, just that's basically it. Some RWA news. I'll definitely get in that as well because this is of RWA Thanksgiving Throwdown. So we're going to get into that show as well. And if anything else goes, well, we'll see. That's it, guys. Have a great night. Home. And by the way, it's a 10 o'clock start time for Cerebral Smack Talk tomorrow. So 10 p.m.
In other words, immediately following SmackDown Live. So there you go. So, yes, special shout out to all of our tremendous fans and viewers out there who continue to make our shows as over as they are. We appreciate it as always. Best fans in the world. Dee Woodson, who couldn't be with us tonight because of work commitments beyond her control. Her, Kevin Woodson, and the Woodson family. Matt Ward, Jason Hickson-Bar, Daniel Luttrell from the UK, along with Kaiser Butler, Megan Silva, and Lexi Calloway, and of course, the boys, Eric Carrier, Tommy Souza, Jimmy Alden, Alvarez and Rob Parsons, and of course, the man himself, Derek Ferreira, and save the rest of mine for Friday night. And well, not really Friday night because we've got some exciting content coming up here. So, all right. Like MF said, tomorrow night, immediately following SmackDown Live, we'll have the Cerebral Smack Talk. We'll review SmackDown Live, the go-home show for Survivor Series. 3 huge matches. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn against the New Day. Baron Corbin versus Sin Cara for the United States Heavyweight Championship. And, of course, Natalya, Charlotte Flair for the Women's Championship. So that all goes down tomorrow night. Maybe some other things in the Mikey's mindset. I don't know if MF's going to have any thoughts about Lucha Underground coming back, but we'll find out soon enough. And now, changes to the schedule. Of course, Bullock and I already know about this. I'm sure MF knows. I don't know if MF, hopefully MF knows about this, but if he doesn't know, he's going to know now. Wednesday night, we're going to be doing a special Wednesday night edition of College Football Thursday. We're pushing the college football show back to Wednesday this week. Of course, the big game on the docket this week, Michigan against Wisconsin. No question about it. It's going to be a rather meh docket, if I'm going to be real honest. So we're not going to have really too much to say about some of the games, but we'll get into it nonetheless. And then Thursday, we're going to be doing the NFL show, a special Thursday edition of NFL Friday. And we're gonna bring you updates regarding the Tennessee Titans and the Pittsburgh Steelers. A great Thursday night matchup, and we're definitely gonna have some. And we'll definitely make sure updates are available when they are available, and we'll preview the remaining games of the week. Some great matchups coming up: the LA Rams against the Minnesota Vikings, the New England Patriots and the Oakland Raiders in Mexico. Philadelphia Eagles, Dallas Cowboys on Sunday night. And, of course, Monday night, the Atlanta Falcons and the Seattle Seahawks. So that's basically your top 5 games of the week right there. And maybe a high-leverage game of the week with maybe the Baltimore Ravens and the Green Bay Packers or the Washington Redskins and the New Orleans Saints. So just some of the great matchups that we're going to cover on Thursday night for our special Thursday edition of the NFL show. And why are we doing that? Because Friday night, it's a special edition of the Wrestling Forum on Friday night. we're going to be previewing both NXT TakeOver War Games and the 31st annual Survivor Series. And then we'll go from there. So that's it. So until tomorrow night for Cerebral Smack Talk over on MF Channel Break 395, it's your ridiculously over good brother Anthony Florio here for good old MF Michael Fletcher, for the Phenom Michael Bullock, and in spirit the Twisted Angel Dee Woodson, and the Hardcore Pipe Bomb Falcon Striker 445 Derek Ferreira. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah. Throw it up Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. Have a blessed Tuesday. And until tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk, you go watching Ridiculously Raw right here on the Tone 25 at YouTube.com. And remember, no matter what anyone tells you, wrestling is indeed actually real. And for everybody who's been a part of this one, good night, everybody.